these playoffs is moving me. If Hallie wanted to score at nigga would, nigga just don't. It's a mentality thing. I think he want to get his niggas involved, but I don't think it's an ability thing. If I think if Hallie wanted to average like 28, I think he could do that.
Hallie
So it
definitely
was
moves
good.
me, but I definitely give Hallie his respect. He impressed me during the playoffs, so I'm there to say have certain conversations about Hallie, not put him in ridiculous conversations like people try to put for like Shea, but I'm ready to put give Hallie his respect. How do we feel about Pacers Thunder finals, man?
I think
I
it'll be
mean,
fun to watch.
I'm with Miles. I think it's going to be. I I'm interested to see what Rick Carlisle and Hallie come up with to face that defense. And I'm actually glad Miles is here. Do you think the fact that the Pacers can run, like they need something? They can also go deep. Obviously, it's not the same, but I'm so curious to see because I think the big thing they can take advantage of is when Chet and Harnstein are in transition, they just gonna get caught because the Pacers do it all the time. Somebody will shoot. Somebody's already running up, so they can get the pass down court.
Yeah, it's literally going to be a textbook not definition, but example rather of like best offense versus best defense. Um, I think it's going to be really exciting to watch. I think both teams generate a lot of turnovers, so I wonder how that's going to go because I feel like throughout these playoffs we've seen these teams win pretty much off of the back of their turnovers. Not of that kind of being equalized across the board. I'm kind of curious what's going to be the X factor in either team. Now, my answer, I think it's going to be Shea. I think once again, like Riddell said before we kind of started, they just have the superior superstar. But I think these teams are just a lot more even than people give them credit for, just on opposite sides of the ball,
Uh, I don't I don't think it's that even. Like the offense is more even, but in terms of the defense, like I think OKC has like four all NBA caliber guards, and and Shea is also a pretty good defender as well. Like Cason Wallace is a lockdown defender. Alex Caruso, Jalen Williams was second team, and like so outside of Halliburton, like they're gonna make Naismith and Neymar and all the other guards, like they're gonna make them like take it off the dribble, and they're gonna try to make them like have to like drive and things like that, which isn't like what they're all strong at. They're all good shooters, but like in terms of like driving to the basket, all those guards, it's not their strong suit. So I think like OKC is just gonna make it really difficult for like the outside guys. Siakam and Chet, that's gonna be an interesting matchup. But if is locked down defensively as he should be, I really think it's gonna be like can Indiana can run it up, but like can they keep up with OKC at the same time?
Yeah, I got I got the Pacers pretty. I mean, I got the Thunder pretty comfortably. My biggest thing for the Pacers Knicks series is that one, it was surprising to me how the offense on the Knicks was not as efficient as it should have been, considering all the players. Like Mikal was definitely not Celtics Mikal by any means. OG was spotty. And the only playmakers they really had was in terms of being able to dribble consistently and create offense consistently with this dribble, was Jalen Brunson. And that's it. So after that, I mean, Cat can create offense, but he creates it by putting the ball into a place where other defenders can't get it, and then making a read. But there's so many people on the Thunder that can put the ball on the floor, create their own offense, and make their own reads. It's surprising how the Knicks struggled so much with that. Mikal, OG, Josh Hart for sure, unfortunately. And then they had to even go back in their depth to try to get more players who can, at the very least, survive on the court. They had to bring in DeLon Wright, Landry Shamet. The Thunder don't have to worry about that. They have the depth. They have plenty of ball handlers throughout the entire offense, and they'll be able to take advantage of a lot more situations compared to the Knicks. And a lot of the offense with Jalen Brunson, especially, is that he was a great scorer, but they were doing a lot of great things and rotating around Jalen. And Jalen was having some really bad turnovers. Just very bad turnovers, very stagnant offense at times with the isolation ball. So the Thunder, although I don't think they're like the most elite half-court offense by any means, but Shea can create his offense just as well as Jalen Brunson. But the difference is that
Better.
fast break offense, they can create so much better than the Knicks with their defense. And they have more versatile defenders than the Knicks did. Because Tyrese Halliburton, he loves to mismatch hunt. He ain't gonna be able to mismatch hunt as much as he did against the Knicks.
Mm,
I don't think he is at all. To be honest,
Chet, Hartenstein, that's 2 mismatches right there.
They won't all both be on the floor constantly.
One will get them in the pick and roll. What happens next?
They
And then I also want to push back on the idea that we're massively understating how bad the Thunder half court offense is. We see J Dub particularly struggle in the half court setting. These guys aren't putting the ball on the ground and making plays themselves. I think they run the highest amount of isolation attempts like in the league through Shea. Obviously, it's pretty much Shea or nothing in the half court. They win a lot of those. These people are allowed to score off of a lot of their turnover opportunities. That's how they get it. And they haven't been shooting particularly well either. I'd say the Pacers have the way better shooting cast surrounded around them. As for the Pacers in the Knicks series, when your guys aren't hitting shots, it becomes very easily to guard when you have one focal point in the offense. I actually have some numbers. Josh Hart from the right corner, you're shooting 16.50% on the series. You're going to lose. If you have Michael shooting 23% from the left corner, you're going to lose. You understand what I'm saying? Like 1 for 6, 1 for 7 from one side of the court. You can't win basketball games that way. And then once again, turnovers. This was actually a stat that ESPN surprisingly showed. They had 122 points off turnovers. Like that's just like that. That's insane. Like across 6 games to have that many points scored off turnovers. So I don't know. Like I said, defensively, the Thunder got it. I'm not really moved by them offensively. I'm just not. I'm moved by Shea. I'm not moved by the other.
So they've been really inconsistent offensively, but how do you feel about their half court defense against like Indiana? Because I think like Indiana, because of OKC's like half court defense, they're gonna try to push the pace and try to make it like a game of runs in terms of like fast breaks and things like that. So I feel like because of that, like the inconsistency from OKC's half court offense is going to be as prevalent because it's going to be a bigger transition game than anything.
They might just run the offense through Siakam because I'm not really like I don't think Lou Dort's gonna be able to contain Siakam. Yeah, they're probably gonna just run the offense majority through Siakam and then go from there. Like he's their X factor. He's a mismatch on the court because I don't think the Lou Dorts are really big enough to contain him completely.
They're probably gonna put J Dub on him.
I don't think J Dub has the prowess to contain him completely. And then if he gets switched on to Cheddar Hartenstein, their food, I'm not gonna lie. He strapped Jokic. We got to stop with it. Like, hey, that's going to get me tight talking about like this basketball shit. If you want to call what they were doing to Jokic, strapping him up when the nigga literally surrounded by bumps who can't hit an open shot, if he gets free of one man, he's turning into 2 defenders, fouling the shit out of him the whole game. Y'all got it. Because all they were doing was fouling that nigga Jokic. They were getting away with a lot of shit, and as a bigger player, you're not allowed to get away with anything.
You can't fight back.
He uses any physicality, they're gonna call it on him, but they're allowed to monkey on his back, hold his arms, do all sorts of shit to throw him off his game. The one game that they were calling it, the nigga had a fucking monster game, and they stopped that shit immediately. So I'm not really trying to hear that Jokic got strapped shit. That shit didn't happen.
If hold on, this is one, and this is why. And let me hop on that also. When Player's Choice, when what's his name? Big Ox was like, you telling me this was what's going to happen? I'm like, if you're just going to say, oh, he shouldn't have done that, when at certain points where I'm just like, bro, as a ref, you just have to call the foul. He's just beating him up. He's just beating him up to the point where, and Jokic was run down from the series. Like, once again, I understand Denver had no business even making it to a game 7 with OKC. And they tried. And and the craziest part is, if Aaron Gordon doesn't get hurt or if his hamstring hangs up, nobody knows. But I'm going to be very interested in seeing how the whistle is this series with what's going to happen. Because if Miles is right and Siakam is this mismatch on the court, how much are they going to let OKC, which is something that has been prevalent this playoffs. How much are they going to let OKC get physical? Because when Doris Burke and the ESPN one with Richard Jefferson, when they're talking about it, and they're saying, and Doris Burke, I know she's trying to be fun. There's a reason why they call him they call SGA the free throw merchant. It feels like he gets such a different whistle in these playoffs. I'm not talking all time. I'm not talking other thing. These playoffs, he's getting such a different whistle than everybody else, to the point it is a definite advantage. So if they let OKC play physical, but Indiana can, especially because Indiana's going to try to run, that's going to be a problem. That's going to be a massive problem, and it might be one of the biggest storylines out once the NBA Finals is over, is this problem right here.
Before I let somebody else go, can I throw some cope in the air real quick?
Go for it.
I actually don't mind OKC. I'm not OKC, but Shea's whistle, because he gets a lot of, I call it disgraceful. He gets away with some disgraceful shit sometimes, but I feel like how the refs even it out. As a team, they don't get a lot of foul shots up. It's just Shea, where Shea will have 30 on a series, and then you'll look at the rest of the team, they may only have like 6 or 8 or something very minuscule.
I would be curious on J-Dub, especially the days where J-Dub is being more aggressive, because he does attack very aggressively to the paint. Sometimes he's pretty inconsistent on what he wants to do. When it comes to the Shea whistle, I don't really care that much, to be honest. Obviously, if I'm watching any game, I'm going to crash out, because who wouldn't crash out if you're watching this game and people getting foul calls? I definitely watched the Knicks series in both against the Pacers and Celtics, and I did feel at times where the Knicks were not getting the whistle. But ultimately, when it comes down,
it was disgraceful. But
it's disgusting. For me, my biggest thing for this series is with the half court point. I do agree to an extent. I mean, my own point was that it's relative to the Knicks half court offense, and the Knicks, especially because Josh Hart did not play a good series by any means, especially on offense in particular. The Knicks don't have a lot of shooters in combination of people who can put the ball on the floor. So it definitely limits to how they can do their offense. So like Josh Hart, if he's not hitting a shot, Mikal Bridges, I mean, in the mid-range, he was a demon, but I don't even know what his three-point percentage is. And then OG has been inconsistent at that three-point line. And then after them, it's like Deuce McBride. And then Delon Wright and Shamet only got minutes in the last 2 games. So I don't even know what their percentages are really looking like throughout the entire series. So the people you could only rely on for consistent offense and consistent shot making was Cat and Jalen. And then Jalen, especially when it comes to putting the ball on the floor. Cat was, my opinion, was playing very well on offense. He was the biggest matchup problem for the Pacers, and they had a hard time dealing with him. They had to especially double him when he was going to the basket or was posting up. The difference between that and when they play against the Thunder is that they're going to have better shooters compared to the Knicks at the three-point line. And they're going to have more depth for shooters because they can go in deep in their bench compared to the Knicks because they didn't start going deep until later on. And then they're just going to have people in combination with Shea who could provide offense in comparison with a little bit more versatility. So even if I said the Knicks were a bit better or the Thunder were a bit better, or if they were even around the same range, I think you agreed with me. The difference is when in doubt, they have to create easy offense. They can through their defense. And that's the biggest thing that they're going to eat, just like the Pacers do with that fast court offense and get some easy buckets, which the Knicks honestly struggled to do surprisingly. No, I guess not surprisingly because they have Cat and Jalen Brunson were not good defensively in this series.
Well, how do you feel about the theory? I was just listening to Bill Simmons and Ryan Russillo talk about it, and they're just saying, they say they don't think Tibbs will come back. They think somebody will convince the powers that be to go in a different direction. But it's a shame that you put all these minutes on your starting lineup during the season, and in the playoffs, all of a sudden you somehow find your bench and now you're playing them. I think they just got run down too. Indiana never stops running. So it's just like they just couldn't keep up. They just didn't have the stamina. How do you feel about that?
They already said that they have no plans of doing anything with Tom Thibodeau. I think the Knicks like made like a little statement like he's fine for next season.
I'm just going up. I'm just obviously it's just them. They were just saying that they don't see it. But
Bro, that's an overreaction. Trying to fire Tom Thibodeau because of some things you don't like is an overreaction.
He coached horribly this series though.
It was bad.
I don't disagree to that.
I don't think James Dolan cares enough to. He's like, oh, they're not complaining about me for once. Like
Dolan's out.
What you mean?
Dolan's not sole owner anymore.
I thought he's still like the primary.
Oh, I mixed up Dolan and Leon for some reason.
Yeah, Dolan been out for like 2 years.
Yeah, he has been out. I think Lonnie's referring to. No, I don't know who you're referring to actually. I was thinking about Leon Rose though. Leon Rose has been doing well.
Oh, I thought Dolan was still like the primary owner.
No.
Who's the new owner?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know the guy's name because it's not the legendary James Dolan, but it's not Dolan no more though. Nah, I think it's been like 2 years he's been like out of like front office decisions. A year or two.
I remember, but Jaden, you said it perfectly right because it might be, but I mean, ever since he hired Leon Rose, they've been good. Ultimately, though, Jade and I agree. Someone tweeted this about, oh yeah, they got to do all this and that. What should the Knicks do next season? I'm like, bro, all they need to do is add more depth. We don't need to panic. The Knicks beat the Celtics in a 7-game series. The Knicks, yes, they lost to the Pacers in a 6-game series, which is very unfortunate. But at the end, there are certain flaws here or there with like how Jalen Brunson played and how Cat played in certain aspects. But Cat also played very well in other aspects. And Jalen Brunson played well in other aspects. You just need more depth because the new NBA is playing not with like 6 or 7 people led by a superstar who could play 48 minutes. No, you gotta be like 8, 9, 10 deep in this kind of new NBA nowadays, and in my opinion, at the very least. Of course, you still need your superstar. I think Jalen Brunson and Cat are there. You just got to add more pieces after, especially people who can create offense on their own.
Well, I mean, you're just.
I don't know who's a free agent this year. Well, I think I know Naz Reid is, but they don't need another center.
Well, they also mentioned that the free agency class this upcoming offseason is not that good. So,
well, man, got to make it work.
Look, man, it'll be interesting. I'm pulling. I mean, I agree with y'all, but hopefully Indiana can take it 6. If I think they could get a chance because it's interesting because Hallie doesn't force he doesn't push the ball to score. He's pushing the ball to pass. So I'm curious to see if they're going to try to make him score a lot more to take him out of his game.
I mean, at this point, Halliburton in particular, for the Knicks, it seemed like their strategy, which I don't know if I fully agreed with, was to get the ball out of his hands, especially considering how great of a playmaker he is off of his pick and roll, and they could take advantage of Cat doing a deep drop. Or even when it's switched up, Hallie can, at the very least, make a play there. So the Thunder, I do think they are more switch capable. But, I mean, if Hallie does what he did last series and the series before, and they force the ball out of his hand, ultimately, I do think that could go very much in Pacers' favor because they have a lot of people who can hit down open shots. Like Obi Toppin was hitting down open threes. You got freaking Jarris Walker hitting down open threes. So if Hallie becomes a problem for the Thunder, that forces them to kind of skew all of their defense towards him. The Pacers might have a real legit chance to make things difficult for the Thunder.
I just don't think they're going to be getting open shots like that.
Depends on how they play the screen pick and roll. That's going to be the biggest determining factor for the Thunder. and it's interesting. They've played against really some elite playmakers, and a lot of them did very well. I mean, Tyrese is not Jokic or Luka, but a lot of them did very well against his defense. The Timberwolves, they kind of bullied, and then the Grizzlies, it was somewhat close. I don't know. We'll see. It really depends on how well Hallie's the big question mark for me if he can oppose his will on this Thunder defense.
What up, Gabe?
Was good.
I mean, we'll see.
Thunder Pacers. I probably won't. I probably won't be watching it.
Damn.
No hate, but I got no stocks, man. This is the finals that
Basketball.
I don't care about.
It's basketball.
So
I'm
what?
gonna
I can watch basketball other places.
What you gonna watch?
WNBA.
Yeah, you sad, bro.
Caitlin Clark's a demon.
He's hurt right now, nigga.
Yeah,
He's
she's
not
out.
even a WNBA fan. He just a Caitlin
I'm about
Clark.
to say, no, but the thing is, he's not even locked in. She's hurt.
I know she's hurt.
So
That's
what
why I'm waiting until she gets back.
Yo,
And then I could watch some more like other. The DreamCon had some basketball. I don't know what happened there, but some
DreamCon.
basketball.
Watch celebrity basketball with
Hey,
Chris.
man.
Wow, nigga, you sad.
Hey, Duke Dennis was in there.
Duke Dennis.
Hey, yeah, I'm not watching that though.
This nigga
Shut up.
would rather watch Duke Dennis play basketball than like the WNBA than the NBA.
I've watched all these damn games. I'm gonna see it through. Fuck it.
Yeah. I'm not mad at people. I'm not shitting on the finals. That's not what I'm doing by any means. But I watch the NBA for players. So if no players I like is in the finals, I can care less. So we here. Should be go. I was Jaden. Why are you bringing up Luca? I was gonna watch the finals if the Knicks made it. That's crazy glaze, Jaden. It's crazy glaze.
Why don't you want to watch it since the Pacers made it?
Cause fuck the Pacers, they beat the Knicks.
Since when were you a Knicks fan?
What do you mean?
I mean, we were locked in, but aren't you
I was a Knicks
Luka
fan. I was a Knicks fan at the beginning of the year because I started watching. Well, I was always a Cat fan. I've been a Cat fan for a while, but I started rooting for the Knicks since I started watching Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart's podcast. That shit was fire.
For sure.
Yeah, we here. That shit was elite. So I was like, you know what? I want the Nova Knicks to win. I was here. I was
Nah,
like,
game. If you want to, you can come up.
yeah, this is open. Anybody can come up, talk their stuff. What else has been happening when it comes to the world of the NBA? One of the things